I'm with Chris Pritchard-Wilkes today, who I work with in KD Commercial as our in-house investment agent. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Kirsty.
And we just want to bring to life for you a bit more detail about what Chris will be talking about at our Commercial Property Masterclass live on day 2, when we talk about how to find the best commercial property deals, which is part of module 2 of the masterclass. So, Chris, how do you find the best commercial property deals? What sourcing strategies are you using? Where do you look?
Well, the key sourcing strategy is having a good agent contact list, because probably around 50% of properties that are sold do not even make it onto the market. So it's key to have those contacts. I was talking to an agent recently who is generally feeding out to known investors without even going to the market. So that is key. The other sourcing strategies I use is EIG, setting up various alerts in terms of what's going on at the auctions. And it's always good to sort of run through them, whether you're putting an offer in before auction, or even setting alerts of properties that are of interest but don't sell at auction.
Yeah.
So it's always key to get that as well. Yeah.
So agents and auctions ultimately are 2 of the key sourcing strategies. There are more, but we'll go into detail on the masterclass. We talked about agents there. So what do you feel from being in the market every day with agents and listening to what they're saying? What are agents' current views of the buying opportunity in the commercial property market?
So current views are that it's very much in the next, well, it is now very much a buyer's market. We're at a bit of a situation where the market is bottoming out in terms of a number of things that are impacting on that, and that's high inflation and high interest rates. There's a lot of investors with interest rates the way they are at the moment that are just sort of sitting on their hands. Let's wait and see. But that's not to say that people aren't investing, because it's there's a smaller pot of investors out there, but there are a number of good opportunities if you have that instant access to capital. So it's key. Yeah.
So by bottoming out, you mean capital values bottoming out, don't you? Because, commercial property values saw a bit of a dive at the end of last year, particularly in industrial. I think retail had already rebalanced itself, rebased itself in the couple of years before, and offices have seen a bit of a fall as well. But the general consensus does seem to be from professionals in the market that we feel we're near the bottom of the market, which obviously is always a good time to buy. And I think agents have also been feeding back that a lot of investors are out of the market because they've always used commercial lending. And so actually what we're helping our clients with at the moment is invest their capital or other people's capital, and agents are loving us for that, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And you're right in touching it. There's such a small pot of commercial lenders out there at the moment, just because that they're playing it safe. They're a little bit nervous, and they're just waiting for inflation to come down and obviously interest rates to follow as well.
So aside from finding off-market deals through commercial agents or getting the deals that fall back to market when they fall through, what else do we need our agent relationships for?
Very much due diligence. It's always good to have those agent relationships. Can give an example of very recently where we've got one of our clients who's looking at an off-market property with another agent. And it was a quick call, quick introduction between my agent contact and our client to give him the insight and information that he needed to the point of making an offer on that property. So it's very much absolutely great to have them for due diligence and just bouncing things off those contacts.
And why would, so another question that a lot of people ask when they come to us to start working on commercial property investing is, well, why would an agent talk to me? Why would an agent give me that information?
Because there's potentially work for them in that. That's the key thing. You know, if you can almost prove that, you know, for instance, again, given this that recent example, is that agent, if our client is successful with that purchase, and that our client then turns to him to let that property, you've got that instant relationship there, and they know that actually, especially from our point of view and the introduction and our client, there's that thing that something's going to come out of it, rather than just pick up the phone and ask you a question. So it's going through the process.
It's about relationships at the end of the day, isn't it? And building that relationship. You know, I think I was out on an on-patch day with a couple of investors recently, and we went to meet an agent who they'd started to build a relationship with, and it's just golden getting in front of the agent, you know, not on the phone, not on the email, actually meeting them and standing there picking their brains, literally. And we're pushing them, going, well, what else do you have on the market? Is there anything else in this town? Is there? And he'd already introduced a potential off-market opportunity, and then he went, oh, I've got something else, and went into his drawer, because we're paper-based, aren't we? We're still dinosaurs, commercial surveyors. So he went into his desk drawer and he pulls out this brochure, and he went, well, it's not even on the market with us, he said, but it's a London company and we help them sometimes. And he said, to be honest, if you went for it, then obviously I'd be looking to get the work from you out the other side, but I'm very happy to help you pull together the due diligence on this if you're interested. And it was a cracking opportunity. Brand downstairs, Greg's on the ground floor, 2 vacant floors of offices upstairs with separate access, in a town in the south with high residential capital values. You essentially get the first and second floors for free because of the value of the brand, cash flowing, immediate cash flow on, you know, and that's the value of building those agent relationships. And agents want relationships. They don't want to have to find single buyers for, you know, every time they've got an investment, do they? You know, so agents want to get to know us. It's just about your approach. So we'll be talking a lot at Masterclass Live about how do you get yourself in front of the agents, what questions do you ask to find the best deals, and how do you build that relationship? You know, and people can come and build relationships with us and practice on us while we're there. In the bar.
Yeah, in the bar, definitely in the bar.
In the bar. So how long does it take to find a good commercial property investment opportunity?
$1 million question.
Absolutely, that's one we get asked all the time. So we're going to be covering that off essentially, aren't we? So,
yeah, we are, and it's all about having a volume, a pipeline of you know, properties that are potential investments, and working through a pipeline. You don't want to be working on individuals, because if that one then falls away, because, you know, and it's not to you know, to paint, you know, the rosy pictures about these things. There are curveballs that make investments don't work, so you then have to move on to the next one. So it's all about having that deal pipeline and making sure that that's topped up, and you're working through them.
It's about having your watch list as well, isn't it? Which we'll talk about a lot, because so many of the deals that we pick up are deals that have fallen through for one reason or another. It might be someone didn't get planning permission to do a conversion they wanted to do, because we tend to keep everything commercial, or it might be that they can't raise the finance that they thought they could raise, or they pull out for personal reasons. You know, there's a myriad of reasons, but actually, you know, we're looking at properties now, you are, aren't you, that have been on the market for over a year, gone through maybe a couple of cycles of being under offer, you know.
Yeah, and you know, you do, you know, the one that we're looking at the moment started off at almost 300,000, and it's now going to auction of a guy between 180 and 200. And we knew right from the start that it was sort of that 160 to 180 mark. So it, you know, it's also identifying and you'll quickly come to notice this. There's certain agents that are a bit bullish, would you say, in terms of their asking price. And it's all about not being afraid of that. Just because it's at a high price doesn't mean to say, if you can actually prove with your workings out that actually that's, how have you come to that, then, it's a perfectly good reason to make an offer if you've come up with your own calculations of how you've got to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. It's an asking price, not a purchase price. The number of people, that come and talk to us when we're working with them and say, but the purchase price is this. Well, no, the asking price is that. And actually, the way to open up the conversations, which we'll also be covering during day 2, is rationalized offers. So you don't just put a number in. When we put our offers in, we put a detailed offer in based on how we've arrived at our calculation to open up the conversation. Now, the agents don't always agree with us, but they will give us some feedback. Whereas if you just put a number in, they'll come straight back to you often and say, no, client's not going to go for that. I'm not even putting it forward. Whereas if you tell them what rents you've used, what yields you've used, how have you analysed the deal, they will often give you some really good feedback based on, look, I am putting it forward. I agree with you on this and this. I don't agree with you on this. And that's actually what's happened for one of our mentees this week. They've put an offer in and this agent has taken the time, because they've taken the time, to feed back and say, I'm with you, apart from this, where we're quite far apart on the yield. And so then it's about showing the agent where your evidence has come from, and we're going to be deep diving into all of that. So Chris and I will be sharing with you in detail so that you will be ready to go away and implement it at Commercial Property Masterclass Live, how you find the best commercial property deals. What are the sourcing strategies? How do you find commercial property agents to work with, build relationships with, and get the best out of those relationships? How do you use your agents to help you do your due diligence? And then also, how long does it take to find a good commercial property deal? We're always realistic. We don't teach you dreams, because we're in the market every day and we know it doesn't take 10 minutes. It takes hard work, it takes system, it takes persistence, and it takes offers. So if you don't get any offers in, you won't pick up any investments. And I think that's a key point, is a lot of people are afraid of putting offers in that they think look ridiculous against the asking price. So we'll be unpicking all of that, won't we, Chris?
We will indeed.
Okay,
in the bar.
Sorry, go on.
In the bar.
Oh yeah, in the bar. Yeah, definitely in the bar. We're surveyors, that's where we live. So Ryan, Chris and I, if you can't find us during the 3 days at any point, look in the bar. That's where we'll be. So if you want to come and have some fun, make some connections, learn everything you need to know about investing in commercial property with Chris and I, we'll be in Birmingham 24th, 25th, 26th of May to help you do just that. See you there.
See you there. Bye.